Have you ever had that moment, scrolling through drama recommendations thinking, wait, this one is ranked higher than that one?
Yeah, same. Because let's be honest, when it comes to C-dramas, rankings can get really controversial.
And April was something else. We're talking about a top 10 list that sparked debates all over the internet. Unexpected rankings, surprising placements, and a number one spot that not everyone agreed with. Some fan-favorite stars didn't land where people expected. Some dramas that had huge hype ended up near the bottom, and others, quiet, low-key productions, suddenly climbed into the top tier. So today we're breaking it all down.
Not just the rankings, but why they ended up where they did. Because sometimes a drama isn't just about popularity.
It's about storytelling, production quality, chemistry, and whether it actually keeps you watching past episode 3.
Let's start from the lower end of the list because honestly, that's where some of the biggest surprises are hiding. Number 10, Shukai and Deng Enxi.
Now this one shocked a lot of people.
Shukai is no stranger to hit dramas. He's got the visuals, the fan base, the experience.
So seeing him land at the bottom of the top 10, that raised some eyebrows. At first glance, the drama had everything going for it. Strong cast, decent budget, a storyline that sounded promising. But once it aired, the reaction was mixed.
Not terrible,
but not amazing either.
The biggest issue, pacing. A lot of viewers felt like the story took too long to get going. And in today's fast-moving drama landscape, that's a big problem. Because if you don't hook the audience early, they move on.
Then there's the chemistry.
Not bad, but not unforgettable. And when you're competing with other dramas that deliver intense emotional connection, just okay doesn't really stand out. So even though the drama wasn't a failure,
it didn't quite hit the level people expected.
And that's how it ended up at number 10. Number 9, another unexpected entry. Now moving up the list, things don't get less surprising.
Because number 9 is another case of, wait, really? This drama had a decent start.
The trailers looked good. The concept was interesting.
But once again, execution became the issue.
You know those dramas where the idea is great,
but the storytelling just doesn't fully deliver?
Yeah, this was one of them. There were moments of brilliance.
Scenes that made you think, okay, now we're getting somewhere. But they weren't consistent.
And consistency is everything.
Because audiences today don't just want one good episode. They want a reason to come back every night.
Without that, even a strong concept can fall flat. Number 8, Wang Hedi Ren Min. Now this one really got people talking. Because Wang Hedi, he's huge right now.
Massive fan base, strong screen presence, and a track record of popular roles. So seeing him at number 8,
that definitely surprised a lot of viewers.
But here's where things get interesting. The drama itself wasn't bad.
In fact, in some areas, it was actually pretty solid. The visuals, great. Costume cinematography, all on point.
But when it came to the story, that's where opinions started to split.
Some people loved it.
They appreciated the emotional depth, the character arcs.
Others, they felt like something was missing. Maybe it was the pacing. Maybe it was the way certain plot points were handled. Or maybe it just didn't hit as hard as people expected. And then there's chemistry again. Because in romance-heavy dramas, chemistry isn't optional. It's essential.
And while Wang Hedi and Ren Min both delivered strong individual performances,
not everyone felt that spark between them. And when that connection doesn't fully land, it affects how the entire drama is perceived.
So even with a strong cast and high production value, it settled at number 8.
Number 7, a slow burn that divided audiences. Now, at number 7, we've got a drama that people either loved or couldn't get into at all. No middle ground. This is what you'd call a slow burn.
Deep storytelling, layered characters, a narrative that takes its time. For some viewers, that's exactly what they want. Something thoughtful, something immersive. But for others,
it felt too slow. And again, we come back to modern viewing habits. People want engagement. They want momentum. So while this drama had quality,
it struggled to keep everyone hooked.
And that's why it landed right in the middle.
Number 6, strong start, weaker finish.
Now this one had so much potential. And honestly, the beginning was really good. The first few episodes pulled people in. Interesting setup, compelling conflict.
You could feel the excitement building, but then it lost some of that momentum.
The pacing started to drag.
Some plot lines felt repetitive.
And the ending, let's just say, not everyone was satisfied.
And endings matter
a lot.
Because no matter how strong the beginning is, if the conclusion doesn't deliver,
it affects the overall impression.
So even though this drama had a great start,
it settled at number 6. Now, we're getting into the top 5. And this is where things really start to heat up. Because from here on out,
we're talking about dramas that didn't just perform well.
They stood out. But even here, there are still surprises.
Number 5, Wallace, Chung, and Juju.
Now this is where experience meets quality. Wallace Chung, a veteran actor with years of strong performances. Juju, elegant, charismatic, and incredibly versatile. Together,
they brought something different to the table.
This wasn't your typical flashy, youth-focused drama. It had a more mature tone, more grounded storytelling, and that's exactly what some viewers loved about it. The performances were solid, the emotional depth felt real,
and the story had substance. But at the same time, it didn't have the same level of buzz as some of the other entries.
Less hype, less viral moments.
And in today's landscape, that can affect rankings, because popularity still plays a role. So even though it was strong in many areas,
it landed at number 5. And now, we're getting closer to the top,
where expectations are higher.
Competition is tougher, and every detail matters.
But before we reveal who made it into the top 3,
there's something you should think about. Because rankings like this,
they're never just about numbers. They reflect trends,
audience preferences,
and what people are really looking for in a drama. So as we move into the next part, ask yourself, do you agree with these placements so far?
Or would your list look completely different? Because trust me,
the top 3 is where things get even more interesting. Number 3, Ren Jialun and Wang Hedi Ren.
Now this one caught a lot of people off guard.
Ren Jialun has always had a solid reputation, strong acting, emotional depth, and a loyal fan base. But placing in the top 3 this month, that wasn't something everyone predicted. So what made this drama stand out? First, the acting. Ren Jialun delivered exactly what people expect from him: controlled emotions, strong presence, and that ability to carry intense scenes without overdoing it.
Wang Hedi Ren, on the other hand, brought a different kind of energy,
subtle but impactful.
And together,
they created a dynamic that felt believable.
Not overly dramatic, not forced, just natural. And that's something audiences are starting to appreciate more and more. Because in a world full of exaggerated storytelling,
authenticity stands out.
Then there's the plot. It wasn't groundbreaking,
but it was tight.
No unnecessary filler, no dragging storylines. Everything moved with purpose. And that kind of pacing,
It keeps viewers engaged. So even without massive hype,
this drama climbed its way to number 3, quietly but confidently. Number 2, The Unexpected Challenger. Now here's where things get really interesting, because number 2 wasn't the most talked about drama before it aired. It didn't have the biggest stars. It didn't dominate headlines.
but once it started gaining traction,
People noticed. This is the kind of drama that grows on you.
at first you're curious.
Then you're invested. And before you know it,
You're waiting for the next episode.
what made it special? Balance. The story was engaging but not overwhelming. The characters were complex but still relatable.
And the production, clean, polished, consistent.
No major flaws. And sometimes, that's exactly what pushes a drama to the top. Because while others struggle with pacing or chemistry, this one just worked. And that's why it secured the number 2 spot. Now, let's talk about the drama that took number 1.
Number 1. The most talked about drama of April.
This is the one everyone's been arguing about.
The one that sparked debate.
The one that made people say,
Really, that is number 1.
but here's the thing.
When you look at it closely, it actually makes sense.
Because this drama didn't just rely on popularity. It delivered where it mattered most. Let's break it down.
First, the story.
It wasn't just entertaining. It had structure, direction, a clear sense of where it was going. No confusion, no messy plot lines, just a well-built narrative that kept viewers hooked. Then the production. This is where it really stood out.
From cinematography to set design, everything felt intentional, carefully crafted.
You could see the effort. And in a competitive market like this, that matters. Now, let's talk about acting.
Because even the best script can fall flat without the right performances.
And this drama, it delivered. The cast brought depth to their characters. Emotions felt real. Reactions felt natural.
You weren't just watching a story.
You were feeling it. And that emotional connection, that's what keeps audiences coming back.
But here's the twist. Even with all these strengths, the ratings weren't perfect.
Which is why some people disagreed with it being number 1. Because in today's world, ratings and rankings don't always align. Some viewers felt other dramas were more exciting, more emotional, more memorable. And that's a fair argument, because at the end of the day, best is subjective. What works for one person might not work for another. And that's exactly why this ranking sparked so much discussion, because it reflects something deeper. Not just which dramas performed well,
but what audiences value right now.
Do they prefer strong storytelling or emotional intensity? Do they care more about production quality or star power?
These are the questions behind the rankings. And April's top 10,
it gave us a very interesting answer.
It showed that
big names don't guarantee top spots.
That consistency matters more than hype.
And that sometimes
the quietest dramas can make the biggest impact. So if you've been choosing what to watch based only on popularity,
maybe it's time to look a little deeper, because some of the best stories
aren't always the loudest ones.
And as for you, do you agree with this list?
Or would your top 10 look completely different?
Because honestly, that's what makes discussions like this fun. There's no single correct answer, just different perspectives.
Different tastes, different experiences. And maybe that's the beauty of dramas.
No matter what you choose to watch,
there's always something that connects with you.
So go ahead.
Pick your next drama. But this time,
maybe give that unexpected one a chance.
You might be surprised